Hello and welcome to my workshop of Learn the Ultimate Holistic Way to Address Your Sleep Challenge. I am Mar De Carlo. I am the founder of the International Parenting and Health Institute, as well as holistic coach, education, advanced training for holistic professionals. I'm also the founder of the Association for Professional Sleep Consultants, and I'm the author of Awakening Through Sleep. It brings me great joy to be here with all of you today and share this very important information. It's information that I've been sharing for many years, specifically since 2012. And it started out as information that I wanted to integrate with sleep coaches and consultants who at the time were utilizing sleep training. I wanted to integrate a holistic approach that I've been using without sleep training. And then it evolved to a point where I realized, no, that's not going to work. It's best to just stick with my approach. And then in 2015, I also decided to expand into the adult sector because I've been working basically with adults for over 25 years in many different ways. I didn't start really focusing on families until I became unexpectedly pregnant with my daughter, which was in 2008. And then both worlds merged together. And so the information I'm going to share with you today, it is not intended at all to replace any medical advice, any therapy advice. If you have any symptoms, if you are concerned about anything with your health, please speak this with your doctor, okay? It's very important not to disregard anything that you are noticing in your health. If you have any questions, the information I'm sharing with you today is to complement your journey, to help you, understand things a little clearer, to maybe clarify some of the missing pieces, to uncover the root cause, which often gets overlooked, and I'll discuss today. So today's information is to raise awareness, to educate, okay? But it is not at all to replace or diagnose, treat, any of that. That is the scope of practice of your doctor, or if you're working with your therapist, okay? All right, let me begin by sharing with you. I'm going to share two documents today. The first document I'm going to share with you is a self-assessment worksheet. And I will share my screen here. Just give me a moment and bear with me if there are things that if things don't technically work 100%, I will just let you know up front. This is my first time doing this kind of a Facebook event. So in the case we have a little glitch here or there, that is why. All right. So this document that you are seeing on your screen right now is a holistic coaching self-assessment worksheet for sleep. Okay. As I had mentioned, this worksheet does not replace medical or therapy advice, does not diagnose, treat, or cure. This worksheet provides sleep and health and lifestyle tools to complement and support your health, uncover the root of your sleep challenge, and encourage inspired action to solve your sleep challenges. Please consult with your healthcare provider for medical and health advice and before starting any program. If a medical problem appears or persists, do not disregard or delay seeking medical advice from your doctor. Okay, so let's get right to it. This is, I would say to you, my number one reason. There are many reasons, just so you know, I'm very passionate about this topic, holistic coaching altogether, but this is one of the number one reasons why I'm so passionate about this. And it's because there could be a number of reasons for your sleep challenge. And what often happens and what I often see is that people are very quick to jump to an assumption. They make assumption-based responses. So for example, if I go to forums, I've been researching many sleep forums, both for adults and for children. And when someone asks a question about their sleep challenge that they're going through, they say, hey, I have insomnia, what do you recommend? Or my child is 6 months old, should I do sleep training? They're waking up 3-4 times a night. Typically, what I see is a similar response of, this is what I tried. This is what worked for me. Did you try this? The biggest missing piece is asking direct questions to the person asking the question. If they're having insomnia, when did it start? Has anything in their life changed? right? And so on. So as you can see, beginning to ask specific questions to the person experiencing the sleep challenge. So in the case of a child, let's say, of course, a child can't speak for themselves. It's the parent or caregiver that's usually asking for the child. But same thing. When did this challenge begin? Has your child been waking up this many times since birth, or has it been more and has it been decreasing, right? And there's a number of more questions, but what I'm doing is I'm giving you an example that most times when people are seeking solutions, they will jump into a forum and they will seek advice. And usually how people respond is just assumption-based answers. They will just share their experience, what's worked for them, and they'll ask if they tried this, but they don't really get into the specifics of knowing and understanding the person asking the question, which is vital. Now, you may also think that, oh, all right, well, if I go to my doctor, surely my doctor is going to know the answer. Now, I will tell you right off the bat that there are exceptions. There are absolutely doctors who have gone above and beyond their medical school training. There's also sleep doctors who've gone above and beyond their sleep medical training to go into coaching, health and lifestyle, and other dynamics involved. So there are exceptions to what I'm going to generally say right now, okay? So I'll let you know that up front. But in general, when you go to your doctor, even a sleep doctor, because they are very focused on treating the symptoms, they do not go into uncovering the root cause. And what that means is that they're not going to usually be asking you in-depth questions about the day-to-day choices that you're making. As a result, what they're doing is they're assessing what you're going through at this present moment in time. They don't go into how you got there, what led you there, or your child there. And they'll just focus what is at present hand. And they might treat it, I see on so many forums, medications left and right. Did my sleep doctor gave me this medication, my doctor gave me that medication, and so on. Rarely do I see that even a medical professional will go into depth of uncovering the root cause. So what does this mean? What this means is that this gives us a great opportunity to be more aware of what we need to do in order to uncover what's really going on, so that when we find out what's really causing this challenge, we are more likely and our probability rises to have a solution, and not just any solution, but a long-term solution. What this also means is that gives us an opportunity to collaborate together. It's time for coaches and doctors to work together. And it's time for those of you that are joining me here that are not sleep coach professionals, you're not sleep consultants or sleep coach professionals, you yourself are parents who have a child who has a sleep issue, or you yourself are an adult that has a sleep issue. It's time for you to know and understand what it really takes to support you in order to help you uncover your root cause of your sleep challenge or your child's, get to the bottom of it, and then give you an appropriate customized solution that works for you long term. So with that said, I'm going to share with you, while others may be experiencing sleep challenges similar to yours, this is common, the root cause may be very different. As a result, the solution would be different, and therefore a cookie cutter or general solution that worked for someone else may not work for you. So for example, one child may be waking up 3 or 4 times a night because it could be as simple as the temperature in the room, where another child could be waking up 3 or 4 times a night because they're on the verge of being under the weather. Another child could be waking up 3 or 4 times a night because there's a scheduling issue. Another child could be waking up 3 or 4 times a night because of the parent's anxiety or need or perspective that is now energetically bringing a lot to the child. So I already gave you, for example, for children, 4 different possible, and there's many more, reasons why a child could be waking up at night. So the important thing to do is to first find out what is going on. With an adult who has insomnia, okay, same exact thing. One adult may be related to something that is happening in their work that is stressing them out so much that they're unable to process with that and deal with that. And that's really the root of why they're waking up. Someone else, it could be their nutrition, okay, that is keeping them up. And they're not realizing that they are consuming a lot of anti-sleep foods during the day. Maybe they're not getting enough sunshine during the day. Maybe they're on blue screens too much right before bed. Again, a number of reasons why an adult could be having insomnia as well. All right. So for that reason, cookie cutter solutions, I'm not for that. Now, there are general solutions. There's general tips that are important for us to all know about, right? Standard things, how sleep works, and how we relate to sleep on a day-to-day basis. There's some standard general tips, of course, but the reality is that in order for each of us to evolve and to shift and to change and to resolve any challenge that is coming our way, we must deal with it specifically, okay, not generally. Now, I want to share with you that there are many questionnaires, so many questionnaires. And this is another reason why it is extremely important to know what is going on. Because if you are taking a questionnaire that is not related to the root cause of what's happening with you or your child's sleep issue, that also could have you running around in circles, right? So this is another reason. So as you can see here, we have adult sleep questionnaires for sleep apnea. And you can see there's a number of them for sleep apnea. Sleep quality, for restless leg syndrome, for circadian rhythm, for insomnia, for excessive daytime sleepiness, for narcolepsy. Okay, these are just the main ones. For children, we've got the sleep habits, the brief infant sleep questionnaire, the children's sleep habits questionnaire, the pediatric sleep questionnaire, the Tayside children's sleep questionnaire. There's also quite a few here for daytime sleepiness, okay? So once again, there are many questionnaires. Before trying any sleep solution, you want to start with a thorough sleep evaluation that takes into consideration your health and your lifestyle, and become aware of signs or symptoms that would need to be evaluated by your doctor and or your therapist for further testing. Now, what might happen, and this is why it's also important to follow your intuition and to remind yourself and to empower yourself that the relationship you have with your doctor, with your therapist, with your sleep coach, or with your sleep consultant is one of collaboration. It is completely understandable that, yes, we see doctors as having authority. We recognize them as authority figures, right? They went to medical school. They studied so hard. They have all this valuable information and training. There's no doubt about that. And so we're absolutely not questioning that. So we are not undervaluing, and we're not at all disregarding the great value and authority that doctors bring, therapists bring, all the training that they have, including sleep coaches and consultants. For example, the ones that study at our institute have over 125 hours of training, a lot, right? And not just theory, in practice. So we absolutely want to honor and value and respect the authority that they have. But at the same time, we do not want to undervalue or give away all our power as patients or clients. We are in a collaboration. It's your body, it's your health, it's your lifestyle. So while they are bringing so much to the table that we want to honor and respect, at the same time, it is important for you to listen to your own inner guide, to trust your instincts. And when your doctor says, oh, you're completely fine, I don't think you need to have any further testing, but something is gnawing inside of you and says, no, I really do think that, but yeah, maybe my doctor's right. Trust your instinct, all right? When in doubt, check it out. Most recently, I teach a lot of classes and to professionals, and most recently I had one of our professionals share with me that, and she herself was sharing about her child, was that her doctor said to her that, you know, her child has been waking up a lot at night. She took our course. She learned so much about sleep, did everything, but still her child was having issues. And something in her told her, you know, I want to do further testing. Her doctor said, you don't need further testing. The professional / mother insisted on it. And come to find out, her child was low on iron. And as soon as they, you know, started supplementing her child with iron, for example, child started sleeping better. Okay, that's one example. Now, if she did not follow her instincts and say, no, I still would like further testing, they would have not uncovered that. If she just left it there, okay? And would have still been struggling. So this is about, again, a collaboration. It's not about fighting with your doctor or getting into a battle. Absolutely not. It's about learning how to work together as a team. And that is why I call my holistic science of sleep method a team-based approach, because everybody involved, we are all part of a team working together to support one another to then help uncover the root cause of your sleep challenge and help you find a solution that's appropriate for you. So continuing on here, qualified holistic sleep coaches use standard questionnaires in addition to customizing questions according to their client's specific case and refer out when necessary. So any of you that are out there, if you're thinking about hiring a sleep consultant, sleep coach, okay, in addition to talking to your doctor, you want to look out for and ensure that they're customizing questions. So for example, they're not just giving you a standard paper with questions. They're doing that, yes, okay? But in addition to that, they're listening to your case and specifically asking you questions from what you're describing. So if you say, okay, my child has been waking up 3 or 4 times on average, 5 days a week. This began 2 months ago. And you want to hear the mirroring of the sleep coach or consultant or the doctor back at you, specifically addressing your case, not just only addressing a standard questionnaire, okay? Because truly, someone who's going to get to the bottom of something will blend a standard questionnaire, and they will also customize questions to objectively find out what is going on within those circumstances to support you, okay? All right, next. Not sure if you have a sleep condition that needs medical attention. When in doubt, get it medically checked out. So always, when in doubt, just get it checked out. Don't just stay there and wonder and, okay, no, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. Your body is your home. It's your home. You have a home outside of you live in, but your body is your home that you take everywhere with you, okay? And so maintain your home in the best way. Value your home in the best way. You deserve that. Uncovering the root cause. In order to begin uncovering the possible root causes that would lead to a customized solution, perfectly designed for you or your child, and in addition to filling out a standard sleep questionnaire intake with a qualified professional, below are some examples of questions to consider and reflect on that might not always be asked by your doctor or by your mainstream sleep consultant, because there are mainstream sleep coaches and consultants that follow cookie cutter approaches, and they'll have standard questionnaires, and they don't always also go into some of these questions, okay? So here are some of the questions. How often do I experience sleep challenges each week? Is it daily, a few days a week, weekly? Okay, now these questions can apply to an adult or child. Keep that in mind. When did my or my child's sleep challenge first begin? What decisions or actions may have led up to mine or my child's current situation? Because here's the thing. What happens also is that because there's so much talk of sleep challenges, and especially around children, it's easy to look for something or find something that's not there. What I mean by that is to give you this example. I had one client who came to me and said, my child has a sleep challenge. And when I began questioning, giving specific questions, going through a specific evaluation, I found out that the child did not have a sleep challenge. The child was actually progressing through sleep development and child development beautifully. But because at 8 months old, the child was still waking up 1 time a night, and because the mother had read and also been told from friends that, no, by this age, your child should be sleeping through the night, like a lot of children sleep through the night by 8 months old, then she perceived her child to have a sleep problem. However, when you actually evaluate this child from the birth up until where the child is at, you will see that this child has been beautifully progressing through every child developmental stage, through the sleep developmental stage, consolidating naps, going through all the stages very beautifully, but still waking up 1 time a night, which is perfectly normal. So if you look at the whole picture and you look at child development, it's actually still normal up at this point. So when we went through this evaluation, the mother realized, like, oh my gosh, you're right. My child doesn't have a sleep challenge. I thought I had one because many of the things that I've been reading, the people I've been speaking to, all made it seem like my child needs to be sleeping through the night by this age. But you're right. If I just independently and objectively look at my child and look at our circumstances, my child actually has been progressing very beautifully through all the developmental stages. And it actually hasn't been an issue for me. So the mother hasn't been losing sleep, for example, because we also look at that. Okay, how's the family? Are the parents tired? And so on. We look at the whole family dynamics. The mother wasn't tired. The mother wasn't suffering from anything. It was more that she just had this guilt and this fear that her child was not like the other children. Okay. So that gives you an example of why, once again, it's important to look at the whole situation case by case. How long do I sleep each night on average, and how would I rate the quality of my sleep? Now, obviously for parents, you would be assessing that for your child yourself, and we would be going through progression. Now, keep in mind, these are just examples. There's many, 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 and they're all customizable, but these are just to give you an idea of what some things may not be asked that are important to ask. Do I eat at consistent times each day, or does my eating time vary each day? Do I wake up and go to bed at consistent times each day, or do my wake up and bedtimes vary? Okay, again, it can apply to children too. And obviously with child development, it's going to change and shift from the fourth trimester and as they age, right? Because the sleep and wake windows shift and all of that. Has there been a recent change in my circumstance, health, or lifestyle around the time the sleep challenges began? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would I rate my overall stress levels currently? 1 least stressed, 10 most stressed. Now, even if your child is going through the sleep challenge and not you, I still ask this question to parents, because parents' relationship to their own emotions, to their own perspectives, to themselves, do affect their child. What I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you a few different outlets you can continue following me on that I'm going to begin doing. On YouTube, I'm going to begin sharing a variety of articles that I share with my professionals and my clients with all of you. These are articles that are based on research that are bringing up really great points for you to consider. And one of the most recent articles, it's actually an article from 2016, but it's a recent article that I brought up again in one of my classes, talks about how parents who have sleep challenges perceive their child to have sleep challenges, and why their bias can also influence their child's sleep. And anyway, that's just one example, but there's a lot of research. And so the point is that your own emotions, your own perspective absolutely can influence your child's sleep. And so that's why I also ask parents this very same question, not just my adult clients who are experiencing sleep challenges. Oh, one moment here. I'm going to, little glitch once again with the, I had it good there for a moment and then where are we? Here we go. All right, let's go back down here. Okay, so these can include things like, areas of stress. It could be financial, it could be career, personal, marriage, relationships, mental health, physical health, right? There's a number of categories, but in general, people can be stressed from a number of things, okay? That can lead to then imbalances in the body, which can then lead naturally to the inability to rest. And in order to rest, whether you're an adult or child, our nervous system has to be in a state where it's at peace, where it's in balance. It cannot be in a state of fight or flight, okay? If you're in a state of fight or flight, or your child, it's going to be very difficult to rest. How are my stress levels compared in the morning versus the evening? So why this is an important question is because, one, how are you processing life when you wake up in the day? How are you starting your day? How are you starting your day with your child? Okay. How are we setting the tone? Most people have their alarm clock. They're on robot mode. It's like the moment they wake up, they just are, again, doing what they need to do. They're not intentionally starting their day. They're not intentionally processing things. The same thing in the evening. People are going all day long from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Before they know it, the nighttime comes. They're still on their phone. They're on something. Oh, I got to turn the lights off. No transition to bed, no processing of any stress, no reflection of any kind. All of a sudden, lights off, things come flying at them. All right. So this is another reason why we get into a question like this. How do I respond to stress? I ask this question not only to my adult sleep clients, but also to parents of children who have sleep issues. How are they responding to stress? That also will affect the situation and influence it. Do I have a healthy outlet, tool, or support system to manage my stress? Believe it or not, when I work with a lot of professionals and clients, this is something that's, they've thought of, but not many of them have integrated on a day-to-day basis in their lifestyle. And it's really, really important. Do I process my emotions during the day by journaling, engaging in a creative outlet, for example, like singing, dancing, playing an instrument, painting, or belonging to a positive group? There's many outlets. These are just some examples. Could there be anything in my daily diet, food, drinks, medication, or supplements that is considered anti-sleep and may be inhibiting my ability to sleep? Okay. Believe it or not, a lot of people are not aware that there are anti-sleep foods and pro-sleep foods. And they're also not aware that certain medications can inhibit sleep, certain supplements can inhibit sleep. So when you're going through a sleep challenge and you're trying to uncover the root cause, it's important to understand everything you're ingesting in your body and how that's also affecting you chemically and your ability to rest, okay? And once again, that discussion is discussed with your doctor, with your therapist, your qualified professional. You can bring it up to them, say, hey, I've been going through some sleep challenges. I'm just curious. I know that you've had me on this prescription medication. I'm wondering if this affects, sleep. And what I would recommend you do is you yourself look up online, because sometimes doctors, not always, I'm just giving you the other side of it. Sometimes doctors can dismiss it, say, oh, no. But then you bring in the proof. You say, okay, but I actually researched this and it does show that there are a few people, it's not a large percentage, but there are a few this could have. Do you think it might be? Now, obviously we have to rule things out. So we don't want to quickly make assumptions. You don't want to quickly assume just because a medication has side effects, that must be it. You don't want to quickly assume a supplement could be it or a particular food. We have to look at the whole context of the situation. We have to thoroughly investigate the situation first. We have to understand clearly what's going on. Then we can begin connecting the dots, putting the pieces together, okay? That is how it works. We don't just, oh, the medication has side effects, it must be that. No. That is what happens in forums. That's what happens, and that's why we're all getting into the mess we're getting into and not uncovering the root cause. So we first must have to thoroughly evaluate the situation, connect the dots, and then start to understand what is going on. Okay, from there, let's see. When was my last doctor's visit? The last time I had lab work done to check for nutritional deficiencies. What times throughout the day and evening do I eat, drink, take medication, supplements? How do I feel afterward? How often do we think about how things make us feel when it comes to eating? A lot of times when we're eating when we're socializing with other people. We're eating when we're watching TV or a movie. We're eating when there's other activities going on at the same time. So how often are we truly in tune with our own bodies to truly understand how we're feeling? And so for those of you that are parents, it's also important to teach our children this. Now, I want to say this to you as parents who are watching. This is not about perfection. I will be the first to tell you and admit to you, I am not a perfect parent. I have learned so much as I've gone, even though I've read all the books, all the advice. I've had patterns from my parents show up that, I've worked through. So as parents, it's important to always, and for adults too, who don't have children, forgiveness is important. Compassion is important. We're human beings. What this means is when we have the opportunity, take advantage of that opportunity. When we see an opportunity of, I remember from that workshop, from that class, from that book, from that discussion, that, yeah, I should take a moment, or I can take a moment, an opportunity to feel what it's like to eat this food, how I'm feeling. Or I can take a moment to share with my child or have a discussion how food feels for them, right? You bring it in. So this is not an opportunity to bash for what we haven't done. It's an opportunity to recognize when there is an opportunity to bring in and integrate a powerful reflection, right? That can support our health, all right, and our optimal well-being. Let's see here. When is my first exposure to sunlight on average during the day? So many people are deprived from sunlight, and which has so much to do with regulating their sleep. For how long am I in the sun? How much sun exposure on average am I getting? Now, I will tell you, and I'm giving you this as a disclaimer. I am not saying you need to be in the sun in an unhealthy and in an unsafe way. Absolutely, you can be in the sun unsafely. In the same way that, believe it or not, you can take vitamins. You can take. It can be unsafe to take a multivitamin in an inappropriate way. Okay, so if you ingest too much of a good thing, it can be unsafe and can be very unhealthy for you. So the suggestion with sunlight is not one where you're doing it in an unsafe or inappropriate way. Obviously, it's at a time of day like in the first thing in the morning, for example. The sun is not so powerful as the rays to, affect you to a point where it can be dangerous. And at the same time, the length of time is not one where you're spending so much time that it also can be unsafe. So I'm not going to get into it today. This is just to bring it up because what we're doing is just giving you an overall understanding of what the holistic science of sleep method is about, what we get into. But you can look up online, sunlight, how much sunlight exposure for the type of skin, when, all of that. There's a lot of information. And if you begin to follow me on YouTube, and also I will share other outlets, I will be providing that as well. This is just to give you an overview because that's a whole conversation, a whole class within itself. But just to give you a disclaimer, I'm not at all saying that you are in the sunlight in an unsafe way or inappropriate way. You absolutely have to follow protocol, proper protocol that is suitable for you in the sunlight. But it's just to say that there is a huge amount of, a huge percentage of people that are deprived of the sun, and it is a really important element when it comes to sleep. What time do I usually turn my lights off in the evening? Or this even includes dimming lights. What is the total amount of screen time I'm exposed to on a daily basis? So once again, all these questions are to get to know yourself better. They're not to begin a journey of criticism, bashing, oh, I don't do this, I don't turn off. No. We leave all that aside. In order to make any powerful changes in your life, we focus on the positive. We focus on, what we want to see. And we want to invite these questions as reflective tools so that we can take inspired action, okay? Not as an opportunity to criticize or judge ourselves. Let's see, next one. What time in the evening do I usually turn off screens? How do I feel after turning off screens? So for example, is that when anxiety pops up, and so on? Does my bedroom environment feel supportive and nurturing? If not, why not? Okay. For parents with young children, I want you to ask yourself this as well. If you were to put yourself in your child's shoes, if you were to sleep in that room yourself, does it feel nurturing, supportive, comfy, warm, right? What's that room environment like? Once you begin to understand that, oh, well, maybe that's why my child, if you're transitioning, let's say they're a toddler into their own room for the first time, let's just say, and they're not really acclimating well to it, but you haven't thought about the colors of the room, just the essence of the room as a whole and how it feels to be in there. That could be maybe one reason, okay, for example. Okay, sleep environment. Is it completely dark? Would I describe my mattress as comfortable, firm, or soft? How many windows are in my bedroom? Are windows in my bedroom kept mostly closed or open? Something can absolutely affect the quality of our sleep is the air quality. And people don't recognize that as well, okay? So that's why we asked that question. Do I keep an alarm clock by my bed? Do I sleep with an iPad or smartphone by my bed? Do I have scented candles? Is there a TV, computer? Basically, what we want to gauge is, Is your room like this spa-like environment where you walk in and you just like, your body just naturally is like, oh, I love coming in here. It feels great to be in here. Or is it like, oh, this room is so stuffy. There's, TVs, computers, all this stuff cluttered. It doesn't feel like a place you can relax. Okay. Do my pets wake me up at night? That's another question that's not often asked. It's, believe it or not, this can be, we think of our children, we think of noises, we think of all these other things. If you have pets, they might have a collar on it, or they might just wake up in the middle of the night. So these things need to be discussed and looked at. Often they're not at the forefront, but they're important to bring up, because sometimes it could be the minor aspect of a situation. It could be a minor factor that could be the root of a lot of things. So it's important to get into that as well. Is anyone I'm sharing my home with waking me up at night? Okay, so once again, we need to discuss those relationships. Usually parents will say, okay, it's my child, right? But for adults, it could be their partner, roommate, and so on. Does my work environment feel supportive to my physical and mental health? If not, why not? So our daytime lifestyle, the daytime affects the night. This is why it's important to understand what's happening in the day. If you're stressed out in your work environment all day long, or if your work environment doesn't feel supportive of you, that will affect you. Now, if there is no immediate changes you can make to your work environment, that's where we give you tools. Here's some tools you can work with, for example, right? But that then will give you an outlet to process things so that you're not then taking all of that accumulation during the daytime, and then at night, it hits you full force. Do I engage in physical activity on a daily basis? If so, for how long? Okay, many people are living a sedentary lifestyle. And as you can imagine, during the pandemic, that also increased quite a bit. When we're sedentary, we're not moving, things get stagnant. Okay, things get so stagnant within the body. We need to move in order for things to work efficiently and for things to be processed as well. When was the last time I felt really good? Such an important question. What activities bring me most joy? Bringing more joy into your life, more fun into your life, more laughter into your life is so important for all of us, whether you're an adult without children, whether you're a parent with children. Finding an outlet that feeds you and brings you joy on a regular basis is it is a vitamin that is necessary for your optimal well-being. Do I consider myself an optimist or a pessimist? And this is, again, not to criticize yourself, just to get to know yourself so that you can figure out, well, of course I'm getting in the way of my sleep. Of course I'm getting in the way of overcoming my challenge, because every other thought I'm having is always looking at what could go wrong. Oh, okay, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied do I feel with myself? Important question. When was the last time you asked yourself that question? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do I feel about overcoming my personal challenges? That's also an important question, because the more confident you are, you will, no matter what is thrown at you, you will get through that, and in a very powerful way. But if you're lacking confidence, then it's important to work on that, because that is one of the foundations that is necessary to overcome a challenge. All right. So these are just some, okay? And when I say some of many, a multitude of questions that can be asked to you. And these are just examples of ones that I get into with my clients that are not often in a standard questionnaire. So that gives you an idea of, oh, wow, okay, yeah, we do get into quite a few things. Okay. If anyone has questions, I believe you can type them in the chat box. I'm not seeing any questions. You're more than welcome. Now I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to share another document with all of you. I'm going to give you a little brief document here. Let me go back here to the share. And let's go to the window, and now we'll bring this up. Okay. Let's just take a moment to pause. So before we begin, actually, let me stop the share. and go right into, where are we? Here we are. And let's view only people sharing video. All right, so I believe you're seeing just me right now, even though I'm seeing myself in a little box. This is my first time using this, like I said. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a moment to pause right now. I purposely did not do this in the beginning of this class because now I want to take a moment to do it now that you have all this influx of information that came through. And I want us to engage in a very short exercise to notice what it feels like when we just pause for a moment. This is one of the tools that I use when I work with my clients that we start our sessions with, we end our sessions with, and one where they take home with them and they can utilize at any point in time on a regular basis to just pause. Why is pausing so important? Pausing gives us an opportunity to take that go, 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 go aspect of ourselves and slow it down. When we slow it down, guess what happens? Physically, our breath begins to slow down. In the beginning, it might feel a little fast because if we have a natural fast breath pattern, but the more we're pausing, our body begins to slow down. As a result, our breath begins to slow down. So then what happens mentally? All of a sudden, we have more space. We can see more clearly. Insights are more available to us. We have an opportunity to reflect and see what's going on. But if we're not pausing, we're basically unconsciously running around, and it feels as if life is happening to us. We want to turn that around because life is actually happening for us. We want to be able to collaborate with life and go on this path of collaborative navigation, not on this, I'm at the mercy of life because I'm just going, and I'm on these automated patterns of functioning. So what we're going to begin by doing, and I'm just going to ask, I'm not sure if Una, are you able to see me in the full screen? I'm just going to ask one participant. You can type it in the chat or you can answer, it doesn't matter.
Hi, I can see you.
Full, okay, perfect, thank you. I wanted to ask that because for logistical purposes, I wanted to make sure you can fully see me on your screen and I'm not at this little where you have to bend down and look at the corner like it's showing for me. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Most of us right now are seated in a chair. What I'm gonna have you first do is if your legs are crossed, we're gonna uncross them. If your arms are crossed, you're gonna uncross them. What are we doing here? What we're doing is we're creating some space and an opening with our physical body. Okay. Now, your posture is very important. A lot of times when we're in front of a computer, we round. When we're on the phone, the head is down. Okay. Natural things, unless ergonomically you have things set up. But most times people are a little hunched over and closed. Okay. What we're going to do is if your back is rested on the chair, you're going to lift it up so that you have a little space between your back and your chair. Your legs are uncrossed. Your arms are uncrossed. The back of your hands are going to now rest on your thighs. You're going to feel your feet on the floor, and you're going to imagine that there's roots underneath your feet rounding you into the floor. You're going to feel your seat, your hips and your thighs connected, very grounded to your seat. And then I want you to imagine like you've got this little string or little rope from the crown of your head, and it's just kind of gently, very gently, not force, gently, just lengthening your spine a little bit. And then your shoulders, you're going to bring them forward and back and forward and back, and then keep them right in the middle. And now we've created an open space with our posture, okay? We've also created an alignment with our posture that is allowing energy to flow. All right. We prepare this because this helps us to optimally breathe. Now, unless you have a restriction, you're going to close your mouth to breathe. Some of you, for example, if you have a cold, one nose is stuffy and it's very uncomfortable, then you can breathe through both, all right? So honor your body's needs. But if you do not have a restriction, a physical restriction you're working with, you're going to close your mouth And you're just going to inhale and exhale through your nose in a natural way. So don't start to force a breath. Just begin to allow the breath to naturally flow in through your nose and out through your nose. Okay. Now, because we're in this online class, I understand closing your eyes might feel a little strange or uncomfortable because you want to see the screen and you want to see me. So then, if you're uncomfortable closing your eyes, what you can do is just slightly close them. Like it's like you want to just relax. Like, oh, okay, I'm just going to barely see Mar. I'm going to relax my eyes a little bit. All right. So this is how we're going to begin. Now, when you're doing this on your own, obviously, you're not going to take all this time to set up in the way that we're doing now because I'm sharing with you what I go through, like the instructions I go through to understand what is going on and why we're getting into this posture. So your mouth is closed, you're breathing in and out through the nose, the eyes are relaxed. Okay. Now, bring your awareness to your breath. I want you to put all your focus and all your attention on how your breath enters your body through your nose and exits your body through your nose. Now, if thoughts try to come in and overtake the situation, you just tell your thoughts, thank you, but you can take a little backseat for now. I get it. I get you want to come in and, take over. But you're going to be put on the back seat for a moment, and I'm going to just bring all my attention on my inhalation, on my exhalation. If the thoughts still try to come in, let them pass through like clouds. Say, okay, you still want to come in? No problem. Come in and keep going like a cloud. But you remain focused on your inhalation and your exhalation. Notice how it feels as it entering your body, as it's leaving your body. Notice the temperature of your breath. Notice if your chest or your ribs expand. And if you feel constricted, where your breath is only like on your shoulders and chest, on your next inhalation, see if you can bring that inhalation a little further down into your diaphragm, into your belly. So you're inhaling very naturally, no force, right? Expanding like a balloon and exhaling slowly. Stay focused on your breath. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 seconds of silence and see if you can stay focused on your breath. Okay. Now I'm going to give you 10 seconds of silence. See if you can continue to just stay focused on your breath. Take that journey with your breath as it enters and leaves your body for 10 seconds. All right, that was 10 seconds. Notice how it feels to go from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. I'm going to give you one more. We're going to go for it. We're going to do 15 seconds. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's try. Maintain our focus. Let's not try. Let's do this. Let's go right in. Maintain your focus on your inhalation, exhalation for 15 seconds. And that was 15 seconds. Okay, you can slowly open your eyes and return back. So we're now connected fully with each other. This is the start of my introduction to a daily pause. There are thousands of variations to this. The reason I started this way is because most people are uncomfortable who've never done this before. Most people who I've worked with who've never done this before, when they first create any kind of space, it's uncomfortable. So I give them instructions, I give them a focal point, and we increase. So we did the 5 seconds, the 10 seconds, the 15 seconds. so they can gauge where it becomes uncomfortable. Because if you recognize like, oh, 5 seconds wasn't bad. And you know what? 10 was on the verge, but not too bad. But 15, no, I can't start there. Then we know that when we begin to implement this tool as a technique to, right, come in throughout the day, we're not going to go for those 15 seconds. We're going to start out with maybe 8 seconds. And then slowly, as we become more, I don't want to say comfortable, but more adapted to the exercises, the body begins to further unwind as you connect more with your breath. Then you're going to start to notice an increase in the amount of length that you're able to sustain that. And then what we're able to do is I give my clients sometimes guided meditations. They can actually follow a guidance. They don't have to do it themselves. Even my own, I have one. What I also do is we do visualization. So I will take my clients, actually, let me share my screen and share with you right now. Let me just share the screen and share the window with you all. And I'm going to scroll down to the breathing exercises right here. Where are we? Okay, so for example, we have what's called a body scan technique where people will scan their body. They'll scan and see where they're feeling the tension, and we'll breathe into that area and so on. We'll do the full body scan. There is a relaxation technique where we breathe away the stress response in certain areas. There's what's called equal breathing, abdominal breathing, the 4-7-8 breathe. There's so many different techniques, and I will be covering these on my YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm going to be covering articles, so many things. That's one of the reasons too I wanted to have this class, because I wanted to introduce to you the overall umbrella of what this holistic science of sleep method covers, and just the different things that I'm going to be sharing with all of you to support you. And there's a variety of these, breathing techniques. And if we look at this slide right here, the way we breathe affects our automatic nervous system, the branches of which signal automatic physiological reactions in the body like the fight or flight and relaxation responses. The ANS, automatic nervous system, activity is outside of our conscious control. The ANS is responsible for managing our breathing, heart rate, body temperature, digestion, and other basic processes necessary for survival. While the sympathetic branch of the ANS initiates the stress response, the parasympathetic branch induces a relaxation response. So sympathetic is the fight or flight. Parasympathetic is the relaxation response. Our somatic nervous system, over which we do have conscious control, makes possible the movements of our eyes, our limbs, our mouths, for example, as well as how, not whether we breathe. Thus, we can, through somatic manipulation of our breath, affect which automatic nervous system branch remains active, especially during moments of stress. So there is a lot of power in breath work, a lot, and it's free. You don't have to pay for a special, procedure. This is free. And so I'm not saying this is the only thing you may need to use, but it is a powerful tool that you can use. For some people, that's all they need on their own. And for some, they use it in complementary to other support systems that they need, okay? So breath work and taking those daily pauses. Now, the daily pause, short daily pauses throughout the day. I just gave you 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, which many of you who have not ever done something like this before would start with. You would just say, all right, I'm going to time my phone, and when the alarm goes off at 11, I'm going to just do this exercise we did in this class with Mar. I figured out it's the 10 seconds. I'm going to get my body. I'm just going to focus on my breath. I'm going to take that moment. That's it. You do that maybe 3 times a day, or maybe starting out twice a day. Some of you once a day, but you implement it. Eventually, that will increase to a point where 5 to 10 minutes becomes a natural norm. It does not need to be more than that. There are, again, many of you, depending on your lifestyle, what you do for work, if you're parents or not, again, there's many factors. Some of you may be integrating yoga classes, maybe integrating other sorts of things that are very similar and that are giving you this pause, okay? Although, believe it or not, I do have clients who take yoga class and the yoga class actually, because they're such perfectionists, that they want to get everything right in the yoga class. And so that yoga class does not, even though it's meant to relax, it still somehow is also working against them to some extent. So even with some, not all of my clients that do yoga classes, I still implement a daily short pause so they can just be with themselves and the presence of their body and their breath and nothing else, right? Nothing to achieve, not a pose to get right, not to see what the person next to you is doing. It's just you and yourself and getting more comfortable with you and yourself. Now, once again, parents who are watching, this is vital for you because the more you empower yourself to live a lifestyle that is implementing, let's say, these daily pauses, guess what? That influences your family dynamics. Your children pick up on that. And that also gives you strength and energy to face the challenges that you're facing with your child's sleep on a whole other level. When I have parents that are exhausted, okay, like as we all know, right, and their child's losing sleep, frustrated. Imagine what it's like to enter that situation. Your sleep consultant, let's say, gives you all this, the sleep plan, what to do, step A, step B, step C, but you're frustrated. You haven't processed that frustration and you're stressed and you're tired. Versus a parent who is given a sleep plan, but is given this tool and said, all right, we're going to empower you. As you are entering the sleep plan with your child this week, this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to start to relieve you of a lot of the stress you're feeling and the frustration. And so we prepare the parent so that they physically can be in a parasympathetic state. And now when they are going to introduce a plan for their child, or even if their child, let's say, things don't go according to plan, the parent will have a resource and will have more energy and more patience to deal with the situation than if they just entered it frustrated and tired, okay, and stressed. So that's just to give you an example. So again, this system, this holistic science of sleep method works all around. All right, I'm going to get to that in a moment here. I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. I mentioned stress a lot because stress plays a vital role. Once again, how we manage stress, how we tolerate stress. And so understanding stress and the root cause of the stress is vital to also understanding what is happening with sleep. It may not be the root cause. The stress that you are uncovering or learning about may not be the initial root cause of the sleep challenge, but may be a big influence of it. So we still want to understand how you're responding to it. So for example, let's just say that you found out that part of the reason your child's been waking up quite a bit at night is because they've been really off on their wake and sleep windows and the scheduling has been off. And so, but you as a parent, you've been stressed. One of the reasons that the scheduling's been off is because you've endured a lot of stress going back to work, okay? So if we're really looking at the whole situation, the root of the actual child's sleep is, okay, their sleep schedules are off. And what's been attributing to that is the stress, right? The decisions that are being made for their schedule is the parent's stress around returning back to work and these shifts and changes. And so I'm just giving you an example. So stress does relate. It is connected to the things that are happening with sleep. And so it's important to understand, what is the root cause of our stress? What triggers our stress? Okay. Is this stress something that's just recent? Is it something like being chronically stressed over time? Okay. So acute stress is like reactive thinking. All right. If, for example, if you've been involved in an argument, you may have acute stress related to negative thoughts you're repeating about that situation. Episodic acute stress, people frequently experience this when they have triggers, like their life is like in chaos, as it says here. They're always feeling rushed or pressured. And you have chronic stress, which is just overall stress that is happening consistently over a long period of time. All right. And there's been nothing done to resolve that. Now, our stress tolerance is the point when the stress response, how we're responding to the stress, goes from productive to counterproductive, which is very different from each person. So, for example, you knowing your stress tolerance is important. So, for example, you might say, "Oh, I'm the patient one." Let's say you have a significant other, or even family members. Out of all my brothers and sisters, I'm the most patient one, or my oldest sister is, or in my significant other, he's the patient one, or I am, right? So people use this word patience, but that's the same with stress tolerance, meaning that some people can take on a lot more in their circumstances and challenges even, and their response to it is not as detrimental or as heavy or as negative as someone else who may take on less stress, and immediately the moment any stress comes, they'll react, it'll be counterproductive and so on. So every human being has a stress tolerance. It's important to know what that is for you, what that means to you, what triggers that, so that once again you can empower yourself. And of course, top 10 reasons people can be stressed: job pressure, money, health, relationships, poor nutrition, media overload, sleep deprivation. And then within those categories, there's a number of obviously different situations and circumstances. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into that. What I do want to share with you is the reasoning behind my approach a little bit. This is what I teach professionals, but I just want to give you a little bit more context about this. First of all, the purpose and the mission for why I'm sharing everything I'm sharing with you today is because I have worked with many people over the years who, even after seeing their doctor or working with other sleep coaches and consultants, still have not been able to resolve their sleep challenge. And I, after doing a huge amount of research over many years, I've been working, as you will read in my bio shortly, for the last almost 26 years, past 25 years already, with people from all walks of life. I've been in the health, wellness, fitness / business side of things for a long time. And I see time and time again so much room for improvement. And I love that. I love growing and learning. I love improving upon things, even for myself. Like, I'm always learning, what can I do better? And not to be a perfectionist, but to understand there's room for growth. And that's great. And when it comes, it comes. So I found there's room for growth, especially during the intake process and the application. I wanted to raise awareness about the importance of a thorough investigative process, as I mentioned to you at the very beginning, and as I went through that self-assessment worksheet, why it's important to go through a thorough investigation. I also want to motivate people to uncover the root cause of their own or their child's sleep challenge by asking the right questions and knowing which professionals would be most suitable to work with, and to once again understand that your relationship, while we understand doctors have authority, therapists, okay, sleep coaches, consultants, like, we want to honor, respect all their training, all their work, you're still in a collaboration. You matter too. You're valuable. It's your body, your life. So don't just give all your power away just because someone else has all these extra years of schooling. Your feedback matters, okay? And so that's also one of my big take-home messages here. Clear up many common misconceptions about sleep challenges and what leads to them, because as I shared it once again in the very beginning, you can have children waking up 3-4 times a night and the root cause is very different. Same with adults. We need to really understand all these, there's not a cookie cutter general thing, and there's many misconceptions. Want to educate people about the scope and boundaries to practice of sleep coach professionals. So sleep coach professionals, we are not doctors. We are not therapists. We refer out. We do not diagnose. We do not treat. We do not examine. If my client is showing signs or symptoms of anything, I refer out. I make note. We learn. We discover. We collaborate. Okay? So we are huge collaborators. Educate people, oh no, expand people's perspective and inspire them to embrace a lifestyle that invites optimal sleep. So I'm going to talk about that in just a moment when I wrap up. And provide education about topics that can lead to sleep challenges most people may not consider, which I did at the very beginning. And I covered that as we went through the assessment. And I already went through the disclaimer. You all know that. So I've been in the health, wellness, business, fitness industry with credential training for over 25, almost going on 26 years. I've been working with one-on-one clients and groups since that time, and I've been an entrepreneur since 2005 with my first company, Physical Awakening. I founded the International Parenting and Health Institute in 2009, Association of Professional Sleep Consultants in 2012, Business Sanctuary in 2014, and on and on. My work so far has reached over 59 countries and growing. I've so far been the author of 3 books, including Awakening Through Sleep. My 4th book I'm working on right now called Physical Awakening, and I'm also the mom of 2. And what my holistic science of sleep method covers and understands is that there's many types of thinking, okay? When we are approaching any challenge, it's important to know that how we're approaching the challenge by how we're thinking affects the situation. So as you can see here from this list, I'm sharing this with you because this is what I share with professionals, and I want you to see what they go through and what they understand. There's analytical thinking, divergent thinking, convergent thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, abstract thinking, concrete thinking, sequential linear thinking, holistic thinking. All right, which is an integration of all the systems looking at the whole picture. So when we are working with a challenge, understanding it from all perspectives, from a whole picture and not just one side of things is key. It's vital, because when you want to help a whole human being out with a challenge, you have to understand that whole human being. And therefore we have to expand the way we think, okay? My holistic learning approach, or a holistic learning approach, is an approach that seeks to fully activate all aspects of the learner's personality, intellect, emotions, imagination, and body. So that includes you. This is what we teach professionals, but this includes you because, again, the more you know yourself and understand yourself and all aspects of yourself, you're going to be able to then meet every challenge and understand how to meet that challenge that best works for you. So that means knowing how you think, how you feel. What is your imagination like? How does it feel to be in your body? Holistic means looking at the big picture. Whether you're doing holistic parenting, website design, medicine, you're looking at the whole picture, all the parts in the whole, okay? And when we consult with our clients, we refer to the whole person, including their physical, mental, emotional, as well as taking into consideration social factors. Okay, now I love this quote from Pearl Zhu. She has this article called Holistic Approach to Problem Solving. I want to share this with you. She says, holistic problem solving encourages divergent thinking, nonlinear logic, exploration, and innovation. A holistic perspective is a zoom out the view and works well when deploying, conceiving, and redefining a problem more precisely and solve it more systematically and creatively. The holistic problem-solving methodology is about discussing the difference in approaching some issues such as ideas, problems, space, phenomenon, experiences, visions in a systematic fashion. You need a more holistic approach for complex problem-solving when you suspect based on experience with similar problems that there is no solution, or that temporary fix will cause you to reconsider the problem statement soon after. A holistic view can either be used to refine or adjust the problem statement so that it can be approached reductively. Being holistic also suggests a genuine sense of exploration and innovation, or simply creative problem solving. And this is what I love so much about holistic approaches. So I didn't make up the word holistic, disclaimer. I didn't make it up. I didn't make up holistic learning. I created holistic science of sleep method. Yes, that I introduced to the sleep consultant industry and to all of you, my holistic science of sleep method approach. But I did not term the word holistic. I didn't, create holistic. But what I love so much about the holistic way is that it's about exploration. It's about wonder. It's just like what children do, right? We're discovering. Our wonder never ceases. We're exploring. It's not about bashing ourselves. When children are learning to walk, imagine if every time they fell, they told themselves, right, if they could, oh, that's awful, I can't walk. Oh my gosh, I fell down again. Imagine they'd never walk. But no, that's not how we're originally designed. We're taught over time to negatively think. We're taught through patterns, which are both conditioned through society and through our inheritance, to bring up these patterns of just criticizing ourselves. But if we just kept this wonder, this curiosity, this openness, this exploration as a child, my gosh, the things that we can overcome with it. Being holistic, problem solving is both art and science, which is also what I love because I'm obsessed with both. You could probably claim you are a digital master with holistic in your ways of thinking and problem solving. Holistic thinking is a skill which can be developed via continuous practice or either for decision making or problem solving. So another important point is that this is a skill that takes practice. It's not, if you're used to thinking in a certain way, in order to start to shift your way of thinking, it requires you, just like when you go to the gym and you're picking up a new set of weights or a new exercise, in order for your body to adapt to that, to become stronger with it, to get better at it, it requires you to consistently keep going with it, all right, and utilizing it. Okay. And then we don't need to go into that. Now, what my method does, the holistic science of sleep method, is what I've done is I've taken holistic thinking, which again, I did not invent holistic thinking and science, and I've merged it with the scientific method. And what I've done is I've then integrated this into my coaching. So I said, okay, I love these aspects. I'm a very scientific person. I'm a very creative person. I also see from evidence-based research what's working, what's not working. And these are the best tools to really uncover the root. And so what I've done is I've taken holistic thinking, the scientific method, which is explained here a little bit more, and have merged those together and integrated them into my coaching, in my coaching work, whether it's sleep, nutrition, any kind of coaching that I do, life coaching. Okay. And then therefore, in this specific class, it's merged into the holistic science of sleep method, which is an adult and child sleep system that combines holistic thinking and application with the scientific method to provide long-term and balanced solutions to adult and child sleep challenges. We investigate and address imbalances in optimal human function, physical, mental, emotional, and external forces, social, cultural, environmental, that impact sleep and may lead to adult and child sleep challenges. Okay. Now, what this means also is understanding that our breath, hydration, right? The key things for survival, food, sleep, sunshine, movement, emotions, beliefs, thoughts, stress management, energy, environment, intuition, all of these are foundations for the relationship we have with sleep. And depending on what is going on with us individually or with our child in our, circumstances, once again, like I shared in the very beginning, we must take a full look at the whole picture to understand what is going on with all of these, connect the dots and see what is going on. Where is the challenge coming from exactly? Okay. All right, so I don't need to get into that with you. This is more of what I teach our professionals. And what this involves is that for them to work with you, okay, they will do active listening with you. They will take in and retain all the information you're sharing and reflect it back to you, okay? Will include health and lifestyle and everything. They're going to help you identify your goals. You will come to them, you say, I want to overcome the sleep challenge, right? And they're going to work with you their short and long-term goals. They're going to help you expand your awareness and help you identify the primary sources or root causes of your sleep challenge. It could be one or more. They're going to introduce solution-oriented action steps that are practical and realistic. So if you want to overcome your challenge, you need to be very real with yourself about what can work realistically and what is going too far, where you want to get you want to overcome something so badly that you go to extremes, right? We know this for weight loss, for example, where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose weight, so I'm not going to eat till I lose weight. And then what happens? You go on that pendulum swing to the other side and you gain it all back, right? We've heard of that typical story. This can happen for any challenge. When you go too fast, too soon, too quick, go to one side of the pendulum, it could easily swing back to the other. So this is why I took the opportunity to share with you an example of the introduction of a daily pause, because as you can see, we started with very like small baby step, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. What works for you? Great, let's start with that. 3 times a day, way too much for me. Let me start with 1. No problem. Great. What time of day? So this is how we work through practical, realistic, and this is customized from person to person. Providing strategies that help you find your solution. So here's what I want to share with you. Every professional you work with, not everyone is designed to work this way. I know, and it's fine. Not everybody's designed to work this way. But if you're paying someone to coach you, and they call themselves a coach in any form or fashion, what a coach is, part of our scope of practice, is to help you find your own solutions, not to just tell you what to do. This is what you need to do. No, we're helping you through active listening, through questioning, powerful questioning, motivational interviewing. We're helping you to understand what's going on so you can connect the dots. We're also helping you to empower yourself to find your own solutions, to learn so much about yourself that you realize, that will work for me. No, that won't work for me. Okay? So if you are in a truly supportive coaching relationship, in a qualified coaching relationship, a coach will empower you these things, okay? Will help you develop a plan to integrate these well-being skills into your daily routines and offer objective feedback. Any coach, anyone who I consider a leader or someone that I would consider authority, listen to, respect, honor, is someone that will always be open to your feedback and questions. Now, it's one thing to have negativity, okay? So I get that, we have to have boundaries around, all right, is this coming from a place of negativity where we're not looking for solutions, we just kind of want to complain and be angry, where there's a place to let out emotions too, or are we entering into a space of feedback and questioning because we truly want a solution, we want to work around something, right? Very different. A true leader allows for questions. So when you are engaging with anyone of authority, keep that in mind. If they're truly interested in supporting you to change, in supporting your well-being, in supporting your growth and your evolution, they will welcome your feedback. They will welcome your criticism. They will welcome room to grow. They will welcome your questions. And we will also hold you accountable, but we're going to do it in a very respectful way. Accountability is important. So one of the things that we do as coaches is that we ensure at the very beginning, are you committed to change? And you need to be honest. Even if you're not working with a coach, you need to be honest with yourself. Am I ready to change, or I am just going to sit around here and know what I need to do, but I'm not going to do it? And if you're not going to do it, why? What's going on? All right. And that's where you might need to seek more help to figure out, well, why do you keep getting stuck? Why do you keep self-sabotaging the situation? Okay. Which is another, I will talk about that another time. We'll probably have, like, again, if you follow me on YouTube. All right. Once results are achieved, our time with our clients complete. So the job of a sleep coach or consultant is not to keep you forever. No, no, no. Our job is to empower you to be on your own as quickly as possible, to empower you with the tools that you need. Okay. All right. So I'm just giving you that information because many of you may be spending a lot of money. Like I just spoke with someone yesterday that spent quite a bit of money on a coach and she didn't really get much back from it. She got a little bit of stuff, but then when she really understood what it means to get a holistic approach, she was like, oh my gosh, I paid this amount of money. I really didn't get much back. So I want you to be aware of what's important to receive and what you are worth to receive. Okay. Now in wrapping up, I'm going to leave this with you. These are just some things that I covered briefly at the beginning, but some with a different perspective. fall in love with sleep. Does that mean you're going to be tired and sleepy all day? No. What I mean is that you realize that sleep is such a beautiful and vital part of your well-being. It's not boring. It actually feeds your creativity. It feeds your well-being. And if you have a child who is not sleeping well, trust and know that they can sleep. I'm going to get to that. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm saying this because often we see that our children can't sleep, and right away we assume that they hate sleeping. Right away we assume they're bad sleepers. Right away we assume there's a problem with them. Don't look at it that way. Understand that in our family dynamic, or again, if you don't have children in your own, that life happens, things happen, things have gotten in the way. We're going to find out what's gotten in the way. Let's put those labels aside that are going to hold us back from overcoming our challenge. Therefore, our expectations, our attitudes, and our beliefs, we must look at those, and we must be ready to empower ourselves with the ones that are going to help us and support us, not the ones that are going to hold us back. Commit and make sleep a priority for yourself and your family. This doesn't mean you have to be so rigid about it. Yes. Are you going to go to a party once in a while? Yes. Are you going to stay up late once in a while? Yes. Is your child or your partner, are you going to wake up in the middle of the night once in a while? Yes, that's life. We're not here to avoid life and circumstances that happen from time to time, as long as they're not consistent. So the issue or the problem is that when it's on a daily consistent basis, that is then interfering with your life on a consistent basis. Okay, that's where the problem or issue is. It's not about avoiding, oh my gosh, I'm under the weather, I'm waking up extra at night, or I went through this, stressful situation. Things happen, life happens. But make sleep a priority as best you can. Stress management, once again, introducing those daily pauses, getting into the habit of that. Welcoming more of relationship to yourself. We're so distracted all the time, and so many voices are taking us out of our element. Get to know yourself more and increase the relationship to yourself. Reflect on the relationships you have around you. Are there any that are stressing you out? And if so, is there anything you can begin to invite into your life? Even if you don't have the answers right away, it might be an affirmation or an intention of, I recognize that this relationship with my family member hasn't been serving me or them. And so I invite a solution for this. That's all you need to do, and see what unfolds. For example, breathing, we covered. Nutrition and food intake, we covered, right? Anti-pro-sleep foods. Movement, which I covered. Safety, security. So I cannot express this enough. I'm going to do a whole nother class on this. If we don't feel safe, if we don't feel secure, we're going to be in a sympathetic state, fight or flight. Nervous system's not going to be able to be in a parasympathetic, relaxed state. So if children are going through stressful situations that they themselves are picking up from you, let's just say even during the pandemic, the amount of families, parents, caregivers that were under so much stress, job losses, different things going on, locked up at home, schedule. This brought upon so much stress. Children, although they may not be able to speak yet or share or participate or be directly in the line of being affected by it, but indirectly through the circumstance and the family dynamic, they still will pick up on that. Okay. And so it's important to understand that if they're feeling insecure and unsafe, if they have also not established developmentally secure attachment, which is another discussion, that could also be attributing to their inability to sleep. If there was a birth trauma, for example, too. Behavior. So one thing I think I have this down here, and let's see if I have it up here. Let me see if I don't. Okay, I didn't bring this up here, but I'm going to just share with you briefly. Behavior is a result of internal and external factors, okay? It's a response. Behavior is a response. So it's important to understand why the behavior. The reason I say this is because lots of times people address behaviors with behavioral techniques and are overlooking the why, or overlooking the root of that. Well, what led to the behavior to begin with, right? The behavior is a response. So before treating the behavior with a behavioral technique, let's make sure that we're getting to the root of that. And I go deeper into that. In my book, which I'll share at the end, my book goes into that. Okay. Holistic foundation. So light and dark cycle, sound, sleep environment. So these are just sleep hygiene mixed in with things that I implement. Rule out medical issues, trace, uncover the root of behavior, reprogram our expectations, attitudes, beliefs for sleep. Trust you and your baby know how to sleep and want to sleep. Allow your baby to teach you to sleep. Don't assume that they're trying to manipulate you and they don't want to sleep. A healthy body, a body that is functioning optimally, will eat when it's hungry, will sleep when it's tired, will go to the bathroom when it needs to go. You understand? And so the body is a very intelligent being and will function as needed when it's in a healthy, balanced state. And if something's getting in the way, we need to understand what's getting in the way that's not allowing it. So this notion that children don't know how to sleep, they do know how to sleep. They're just going through sleep development. They are not sleeping exactly like adults, and their sleep cycles and rhythms and all of that is different. Yes, up until they begin, right, as they're maturing and developing, but it's still, they're still going through different stages, and it's part of the human process, and it's designed perfectly and intelligently. It's not that, oh no, they don't know. No, their body does know what it's doing. Consider sleep as a social and shared experience. Okay, so it's not me and my child or me and my partner. It's us, it's we, and how can we collaborate and function together as a team? Therefore, I see family sleep issue I see it as a family sleep issue, not as a child sleep issue. And even if you don't have children, and let's say you live with a significant other or an extended family, again, team trauma, healing trauma, which again is not within the scope of practice as a sleep coach, we would refer out for that, but we would look for that if it arises and if there's signs of that in the discussion and so on, or symptoms. Applying tools and techniques when triggers arise, invite and create a support system, strengthen connections, being present, be the change, and so on. I'm going to give all of this to you. I'm going to upload this file. Relaxation becomes your lifestyle. Now, what I mean by this is this. Look, I'm from the East Coast. I'm half Colombian, half Greek. I'm a very energetic person. I'm on fire a lot of the times. And that's, so do I need to change my personality and change my authentic self and now be relaxed? Now, I love to relax and I love to teach yoga and I love to do breath exercises, but I also enjoy being excited and energetic. So for me, for example, what relaxation becoming my lifestyle means is, how is my environment? Is it set up to be relaxing and supportive of me? When I eat, am I anxious? Am I fully distracted? Or am I able to be with my meal fully present and mindful? When I'm talking to another human being, am I distracted on the phone, or can I be present with them? When I'm transitioning into the morning or at night, am I inviting a transition where I'm fully present and pausing, right? So what that means is that I'm just creating more space. I'm not changing my authenticity, okay, me and my authentic self, but what I'm doing is I'm just creating more space. I'm inviting space to actually expand and nourish who I am on a greater level. So that's what it means, more or less, to invite relaxation into your lifestyle. It doesn't mean to change who you are, to be someone inauthentic, to yourself. If you're someone like me, for example, perfect example, right? East Coast, right? Mediterranean, Latin American, and so on. What that means is that you're inviting the space, you're inviting the pauses, you're inviting the mindfulness, the presence as additional aspects to support your overall well-being. Therefore, taking the daily pauses, getting a full blood panel checked and performed by a qualified health professional when needed. So here's the thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm going to do it, like I said, a class on this. There's a few articles about this, about, people perceiving sleep challenges, specifically parents, when there are none. And then as a result, their child will end up having a sleep challenge when there was none to begin with. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. All right. If no symptoms are coming up, if you're not responding to things, if you're digesting things well, you don't feel anxious, if you're not seeing that something's coming up that needs that extensive testing, right? You don't, if you're just curious, okay, maybe you're just curious, you want to know. But again, you use things as needed. Okay. Eat a pro-sleep diet, hydrate, exercise and move. Bedroom environment we talked about, sunshine I talked about. Consistency is so key. Patterns and consistency. Your body thrives off of them, right? If you're constantly confusing your body, oh, I'm waking up this time one day, another time another day, eating this time, your body does not have a chance to regulate itself, okay? And so having a consistent pattern and rhythm to your schedule is also very key to having established a very good foundation. Okay. And then lastly, before I close, is the necessary keys to all of this is welcoming space. Don't be afraid of space. We did it a little bit in this class. Relaxation, as I explained what that actually is. Curiosity, trust, flexibility, compassion, forgiveness, letting go, seeing challenges as opportunities, being open to unlimited possibilities, and welcoming love. And when I mean that, I mean truly embracing and accepting the beauty of everything that is at this moment, and recognizing that no matter how difficult or challenging something may seem, while we honor that you have emotions that we want to invite, some of you, like, I'm not at all saying you have to avoid emotions. When you're frustrated, feel that frustration, but let it go. When you're angry, feel it, let it go. It's not about avoiding anything. But at the same time, it's also not about taking an opportunity to bash yourself. It's saying, I'm human. Life happens. Life is happening for me. And through this incredible roller coaster ride, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm inviting that learning and growing process. And as a result, I'm expanding. Okay. And so these are traits that help us. And let's say we struggle with trust. No problem, because we're all humans. We all have things we're working on. Some of us might struggle more with trust. Some of us are more rigid and struggle with flexibility. Some of us have a hard time being compassionate, or some of us have a hard time letting go. No problem. You're learning about yourself. It's great to learn about the things that you do well, that come easily to you. And it's great to learn about the things that are hard for you. And don't blame yourself for those either, because those are the very things that can be your gifts. Okay, it's a matter of understanding, wow, I have a hard time being flexible. Why is that? When did that start? Oh my gosh. And then that opens up a whole new avenue for you to learn and understand about yourself, and gives you an opportunity to grow. Okay, finally, because I shared so much information, I packed so much into this class today. My book, Awakening Through Sleep, is available on Amazon and goes into depth. I have a Kindle version that you can purchase, and then there's also a paperback. So if you really resonated with what you heard today, first of all, please share it, because I really do want this to get around. I want this information out there. And feel free to, get my book and leave a review. Let me know what you think. This book has so much information. I put a lot in there about children's sleep, and I also integrated adult sleep. As you can see from this class, it's not really separate. It is and it isn't. I mean, there's many factors. Even with adults, I'll let you know this. Even with adults, we have different stages. Okay, we have aging adults, right? So when you're going through different stages of your adulthood, right? When you're in your late teens, early 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and so on, you're also going through different stages of your life, different things going on. So as a result, we are also looking at sleep from those angles and those perspectives, in the same way we look at child sleep in the 4th trimester, 4 through 6 months, 6 to 9 months, 1 year, 3, right? So once again, this methodology applies to all of these stages, because the root and the foundation of all of it is everything that I shared today, how we approach our challenge, okay, from that angle. All right, so that wraps up my packed presentation. Any questions? Una, are you still with us? Or you may have left. All right, so Una, I believe, may have left. And any one of you who are watching the recording and not watching the live presentation, I will be checking in for questions within the group or within the chat if you send them in after. Keep in mind, today's presentation was an introduction to learning the ultimate holistic way to overcome your sleep challenges, right? Because how we approach sleep challenges is key to how we resolve them. And if we're approaching them in a way that is non-holistic and it's very fragmented and is very one-sided, already you can see how we can get into a tailspin, right? So today's class was an introduction to all of that. And my hope is that you took something away from it to expand your perspective and also empower you to value yourself more and to understand that your health and your life is so valuable and so meaningful. And so you deserve to collaborate with professionals who, yes, have had maybe more training than you, but it's still a collaboration, and you deserve, that value because it's your body and your life. So thank you so much for watching me. I'm going to take a moment to close by once again coming into the posture that we did in the very beginning. We're going to place our feet on the ground. If your legs are crossed, uncross them. If your arms are crossed, uncross them. The back of the hands on your thighs with the palms to the ceiling. Your chin slightly tucked, your back off the rest, mouth is closed. And we're now going to relax the eyes. If you want to close them, that you can. Bring your awareness to your breath, to your inhalation, your exhalation. Notice how your inhalation expands your body like a balloon. Notice how when you exhale, your body begins to soften and close. And then start to feel your body. So you're focused on your breath, but feel your body, feel your presence. We shared a lot of information, or I shared a lot of information today with all of you. Understand that today's information may take time to process. Don't force yourself to retain every single thing. It's recorded. You can always go back. Honor your body's presence, your body's intelligence, your body's ability to retain and process all the information. And trust that what you learned will serve you how it needs to serve you, or at least will, even if that means leading you into the direction that is the right direction for you, even if it means giving you another clue. We're going to take a moment of silence, and in this moment of silence, continue to stay connected with your breath, with your body. Imagine a little bit of sunlight, not harsh sunlight, just a little bit of sunlight, very soft sunlight, giving off some warmth, like a gentle warmth to your body. And then feel a very gentle, like room temperature breeze, very softly coming across your body. Notice how it feels to be present and still with your body. Notice what it's like to pause just for a moment, short moment. Then we're going to take our palms, we're going to place them in front of our chest. And I like to use this as a reminder that our body is connected with our mind. So often we get so intellectually entangled or brought into all this information that we forget our body's presence. And so this gives us an opportunity to connect the presence of our body with our minds. They can collaborate and function together and optimally in our learning. Then we're going to inhale and float our arms up toward the sky. Exhale, slowly floating your arms down by your sides. If your eyes are closed, you can open them all the way. If they're halfway closed, open them. And that completes today's class. Thank you so much for joining me. This was my very first Facebook event in this manner. I did Facebook events years ago, but they've changed things up and are doing new things. And so thank you for joining me on this pursuit. Once again, if you have any questions, let me know. I am going to post the YouTube channel where I'm going to be following up with more videos. I'm going to do some live streams and I'm going to introduce a lot more on the topics that I've discussed today to share with all of you. And if there are other outlets, I may have a follow-up group for all of you as well. I'm also thinking about putting that together, but I'm just really gauging to see what's going to serve you best. So any feedback that you have, let me know, okay? And I look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day, evening, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. I'm Mar De Carlo, parentinghealthinstitute.com, Awakening Through Sleep. My book is on Amazon.com. Thanks.